Here we see a list of my personal files on IBM Connections. As indicated by the icons, some are public, some are private, and others are shared with one or more people or communities only. On the left side of the screen, we see that I can filter my personal files by tag, whether or how the file is shared, and the date on which the file was most recently updated. Of particular relevance to the social business concept is my ability, with a single click, to see all of the files that have been shared with me from across the organization. Similarly, I have a single view of all files that I've shared with other people or communities. Also, and as you would expect from a social business platform, I have a single view of all files being shared publicly within my organization. Making sense of what can eventually be a lot of public files is easy and efficient in IBM Connections. We can use a traditional search paradigm to search all files, my files, or files shared with me. We can sort search results, or indeed all public files, by date, number of downloads, comments, or recommendations. I can easily subset the total list of public files by using the public tags tag cloud. With a click on Finance, for example, I can subset the total with only those documents tagged by an author or collaborator with the keyword Finance. I can further subset the list by entering other keywords, such as bank. Now we're seeing only publicly available files tagged with both Finance and bank. Trash makes it easy for me to get a complete view of all the files that I've put aside. From within Trash, I can either restore a file or delete it permanently. Here we see a list of my folders and folders shared with me by others. Creating a new folder, whether public, private, or for a limited group of collaborators, is easy. In this case, I'll create a public folder called HR Policies, visible to everyone. We'll make use of the HR Policies folder a bit later in the demonstration. Getting more information about files in any view is made simple with the Customizable Details view. Here we see more information about the files, such as how many versions there are, the number of people collaborating on the file, as well as the file size. For those who want to see more, this table can be customized to include fields such as description, number of comments, recommendations, and downloads, and total size for all versions. After a few clicks, I'm able to sort all of my files by number of downloads. Pin a file if you refer to it often and you want to make it as easy as possible to find. Consider use cases for this capability in HR for frequently updated policy documentation, expense reporting guidelines for sales professionals, or project plans for team coordinators. There are a number of useful actions on this file I could take from the context menu. But for now, let's take a closer look at the details of this particular file. Here we see an intuitive view of various file properties, as well as the ability to take additional social actions. For example, at the top I can see this file has been tagged with compensation, but adding new tags to my files, or other authors' files for which I have editor access, is simple and intuitive. Both file authors and collaborators designated as editors can quickly upload new versions of files. Notification that a new version has been offered are automatically sent to anyone that has either previously downloaded the file or is following the file. To share a file, click the Share button, and IBM Connections will load a means to share the file with both people and communities. In this example, I'll share the file with Gardner Rains as a reader, and with Frank Adams as an editor. I'll add an additional message letting Gardner know that he should review the file, but that as he is now an editor, Frank should incorporate feedback. Adding a file to a folder in IBM Connections takes seconds, and is in reality an exercise in adding metadata about a file to a collection in the system. This is important to note because we're not actually moving the file to complete this action, nor are we duplicating the file. This simple design allows a single file to exist in any number of folders without duplication. The implication of this innovative approach is that as a file is versioned, commented upon, recommended, or even if the file name itself changes, it is likewise done in every social context or folder of which the file is a part. This capability of IBM Connections is designed to once and for all mitigate the network file duplication problem that's common in other in-market solutions. In this case, I've added the employee compensation file to the previously created HR policies folder. Note that the file, while in a new context, retains all of its social information, number of downloads, comments, and recommendations. Note also that I can easily add files from other authors to my folders, just as my colleagues can add my public files or files authored by me to which they have access to their folders. This allows an organization to create context around disparate files that otherwise have no context, and in doing so, create new value from existing assets. By using the Shared with Me view, I've added an executive compensation policy spreadsheet to my folder that was shared with me by Heather Reeds. More Actions provides additional capabilities, such as the ability to stop following the file, which will stop email updates for new versions and comments. But it also provides a means to change the file name and description. As with all IBM Connections services, adding comments is simple and a great way to expand your professional network by becoming known to subject matter experts. It's also an excellent way to both share thoughts and solicit feedback for future versions of your work or that of others. Note that I can also see the specific version on which the comment was made. This is particularly useful as authors and editors work to incorporate feedback. About a file provides an enormous amount of useful information, starting with the basics of when the file was created, but moving into even more useful information, such as who has previously downloaded the file, and even further, what version they downloaded. Maybe a person that's previously downloaded the file is a natural champion of my work, someone out to whom I should reach for further collaboration. In a truly social business, knowledge workers are encouraged to use Web 2.0 tools, such as this, to find information to support their work, but also to discover people. Frankly, sometimes it's just more useful to discover a person than it is to find a file. The Folders tab gives me simple tools to either remove this file from folders of which it's a part, or add the file to additional folders with a couple of clicks. The Sharing tab provides me with insight into the people with whom this file is shared and how, as either reader or editor. But even more interesting, how these people have further shared the file. In this case, I've shared the file with Natalie Olmos, among others. She's gone on to share the file with Ronald, Stefano, and Ted. Ted's gone on to share the file with Pierre Dumont. The Details view gives me all the information I need to understand the chronology of how this file has moved through the organization through onward sharing. The Versions tab gives me the ability to download, even restore previous versions of the file, as well as review file version comments. Recommendations are an easy way to call attention to valuable content and reward your colleagues for a job well done. Not only can I recommend this file, but I can also see who else has recommended this file. Again, this is an excellent way to expand your professional network of people from all over the organization with whom you share interest overlap. Finally, with IBM Connections version 3, uploading a file and simultaneously tagging and sharing it with people and/or communities has never been so easy and intuitive.